If it's your turn to cook and you're pressed for time, this recipe is going to be for you. These 30-minute meals are made just in case you don't have a lot of time. It's a weekday night, I've got somewhere to be tonight, and I've got to cook dinner. So I only have a half an hour to get it ready and get it on the table, and that's all I need to make this dish. Tonight we're making sun-dried tomato pesto pasta with some tortellinis, grilled chicken, and of course some grilled peppers as well. Come on, I'll show you how to do it. Now, getting a meal done in 30 minutes or less takes a little bit of planning. I know that this water is going to take the longest to boil, and so I'm going to get it started first and then preheat the grill.
A full chicken breast will take far too long to cook, so let's butterfly it to make it a bit thinner. This is going to give us more surface area for the seasoning and the browning, and it works well if you're in a hurry, but it can be pretty easy to overcook if you're not careful when you're cooking this thin piece of meat. Now for some seasoning. We're going to top it off with some garlic salt, Italian seasoning, and some extra fresh cracked black pepper. Now that the grill is preheated, we're going to turn it down to medium-high, and we need to coat the grates with oil so it doesn't stick. Some have said that you should oil the food and not the grates, but I've always had better results and less sticking this way. Then we're going to put the chicken breast on the grill and shut the lid for 7 or 8 minutes before we flip. While that's cooking, let's chop up some peppers. Now I use the Gordon Ramsay method to cut along the ribs, which avoids having to clean up the seeds when you're done. Now it takes a bit of practice, but you can cut along the 2 indentations, and you'll cut off the flesh while leaving the ribs and all the seeds together to be thrown out. It took me a few tries when I first learned this method, but I prefer it over the other ways of cutting up peppers, and I think you will too, so go ahead and give it a try and see what you think. Coat the peppers with a bit of olive oil and some garlic salt before we throw them on the grill. Now at this point, the chicken should be nicely browned and ready for a flip. The chicken breasts are done when they reach 165 degrees Fahrenheit in the thickest part, and I take them off one by one and wrap them in foil to keep them warm.
So this is the part where some of you might judge. I'm using store-bought ingredients because if you only have 30 minutes, you don't have time, but if you start with high-quality processed ones, you can save a lot of time. And I'm using both the sauce and some tortellinis. These are going to cook in just 3 minutes. So we're going to put them on last so that way they're nice and hot. We'll mix everything in after that.
When the 3 minutes is up, turn off the fire and drain the pasta. And at this point, the peppers are cooked and nicely charred, so take them off and cut them up. Add a tablespoon of olive oil to the pasta and then add your prepared sauce. Now pesto would work just as well, but I like the flavor of sun-dried tomatoes and I think it adds something special to this particular dish. This is also a good time to add some parmesan or asiago cheese, and then finally the peppers after you've mixed everything in. Now plate it, and it's served in less than 30 minutes, and this one is sure to please.